Today I'm going to do something a little different. This is 7 Heavy Tank Showdowns back to back. One long marathon of heavy tank matchups, tank identities, and how each of these machines actually wins. If you missed any of the previous episodes, or you just want to binge on the whole series in one place, this video is for you. I'm Ripper Smash, and welcome to Modern Viking Gaming. Let's get into it.
What's up everybody, Ripper Smash here. Ever dump a full T57 heavy clip, get caught in the open, and all of a sudden you're dead? Ever get into a really good hull down spot with the Object 277, then wonder why you have to overexpose to get shots? Forget stats, forget win rate or WN8. This matchup comes down to one thing. Consistency versus impact. Welcome to the first installment of the Heavy Tank Showdown series. Today we're breaking down the T57 Heavy versus the Object 277, two tier 10 tanks with completely different playstyles. By the end of this video, you know exactly which tank you should be playing. The role of the T57 Heavy is a support heavy renowned for its devastating 1600 damage burst potential in a 4-round clip. The playstyle of the T57 is as a deadly assassin or finisher tank. It isn't an assault tank and isn't expected to absorb punishment. Its playstyle is to support heavier armored tanks and waiting for the enemy to expose themselves, become distracted, and then crippling or killing them. The keys to this tank are second line support. Let heavier tanks take the initial hits, and once enemies fire, quickly dump your clip into them and retreat to cover. Peekaboo with a twist. Instead of peeking and firing one shot, you are looking for situations where you can peek and fire 4 shots over 6 seconds. This requires patience and map awareness. Map awareness. Due to the lack of armor of the T57, getting caught out of position, say against a Type 5 Heavy, could be a death sentence. With the T57, you must plan your movements, shots, and reloads to be able to anticipate enemy opportunities. Ammo management. The T57 carries only 44 rounds total, meaning that every shot must count. The AP rounds have good penetration, but having premium rounds for dealing with super heavies is key at close range. The strengths of the T57 are exceptional burst damage. The ability to deal 1600 damage in 6 seconds is devastating and can change the outcome of most matches if used correctly. High DPM. This tank has a claim for some of the highest DPM among tier 10 heavy tanks thanks to its fast reload time for an autoloader at 22 to 25 seconds. Good gun depression. -8 degrees gun depression means that the T57 can utilize ridgelines and terrain features effectively. Trollish armor. Due to its angled hull and the shape of its turret, the T57 can occasionally bounce poorly aimed or snapped shots. The weaknesses of the T57 are vulnerable during reload. The longish magazine reload time leaves this tank completely defenseless for a period of time. This means that positioning is crucial. Unreliable armor. The armor profile of a T57 is poor for a heavy tank and isn't capable of withstanding consistent fire. The lower plate and large cheeks of the turrets are weak spots. Derpy gun handling. The gun can be inconsistent at longer ranges due to poor soft stats that require proximity to enemy tanks to ensure all shots hit. Prone to module damage. The turret design makes it susceptible to frequent module damage, including gun and ammo rack damage. The T57 is all about multiple clip damage. When it works, the tank feels unstoppable. The role of the Object 277 is a highly versatile heavy-medium hybrid, designed for rapid map control and aggressive yet calculated engagements. It emphasizes mobility and powerful firepower over raw armor. The Object 277 demands a more tactical playstyle and a solid understanding of map positioning, rewarding players who use its speed to create opportunities. This tank is played like a well-armed medium tank that can flex and act as a second-line heavy. The keys to this tank are: seize key positions early. Use its superior speed at 55 kilometers an hour and power to weight ratio to reach crucial points on the map before most enemy tanks do, allowing your team to flex early for a positioning advantage. Hull down dominance. With the turret of the 277 being exceptionally strong, it is ideal to find strong positions where only the turret is exposed. This allows you to play around poor gun depression at negative 5.5 degrees. Map awareness and flex or relocate. Due to the speed and need for being hulled down, the Object 277 requires a specific knowledge of hulled down spots on various maps. This also requires a constant re-evaluation of how the battle is progressing, making you aware of when to switch flanks, retreat, or support areas in need of a push. Avoid brawling. Despite being a heavy tank, you should generally avoid direct, close-quarters brawling due to its weak hull and vulnerable side armor. The strengths of the 277 are exceptional mobility. The 277 is one of the fastest heavy tanks in the game, allowing for quick deployment or repositioning, giving a huge tactical advantage. Potent firepower. The 277 has a 130mm gun with an alpha damage of 490. Additionally, the premium heat rounds have an excellent penetration of 340mm, making it effective against heavily armored enemies. Strong turret armor. The turret is basically impenetrable from the front, making it a hull-down machine. Good standard penetration. With 265mm of pen on the AP rounds, the 277 can reliably penetrate most Tier 9 and 10 tanks without needing to resort to premium ammo. The weaknesses of the 277 are vulnerable hull armor. The hull, namely the lower plate, is a significant weak spot and easily penetrable. Poor gun depression. The negative 5.5 gun depression talked about earlier makes certain terrain hard to fight and defend from. The side armor. The side armor is relatively thin on a 277, making side scraping risky as it can be overmatched. Lackluster gun handling. While the gun may be powerful, the bloom and dispersion makes the gun somewhat unreliable compared to other heavy tanks. This then requires the use of vertical stabilizers for equipment. The Object 277 plays completely differently from the T-57. It wins by speed and power, not raw burst. Scenario 1. City or corner fights. Winner is the Object 277. The 277's turret armor and firepower make it a force to be reckoned with in a city full of debris. In the actual corner fights, the T-57 has a slight advantage if it can hide and cover, peek when mistakes are made, and punish using its whole clip. The reload time loses it the fight though. The common player mistakes are over-pushing or exposing weaknesses on the 277. Scenario 2. Ridge lines and hauled down. Winner is the Object 277. This is literally what this tank is made for, but finding proper spots for every fight can be tricky. The common player mistakes are using ridge lines that require more gun depression or overexposing. Scenario 3. Push versus hold. Winner is the Object 277. With the speed and firepower of this tank, it easily helps with pushes as it can move and fire quickly. The common player mistakes are pushing into multiple heavy tanks and forcing brawling scenarios. Scenario 4. Endgame or low HP cleanup. Winner is the T-57. As a support tank, the T-57 clip and burst damage allows for finishing off low HP tanks easily when they become overwhelmed or out of place. The common player mistake is getting overzealous and getting caught on reload. Is the T-57 forgiving or punishing? I think it is punishing due to the amount of awareness needed. It punishes bad timing on reloads and positioning. The common mistake, not taking into account the need for cover to reload. What separates good versus great players? Map awareness and knowing how to time peaks and proper reloads. It's not just about emptying your clip. You need to think about everything from load, aim, fire, and reload. This tank can be amazing when played right. Is the Object 277 forgiving or punishing? I think it is more forgiving due to its armor profile and the fact mistakes cost HP and not death. The common mistake is side scraping and not taking the tank's weak points into account. Why some players struggle. They think they can play the 277 like the IS-7 and brawl. The T-57 Heavy wins bigger moments, the Object 277 wins more games. Play the T-57 Heavy if you love burst damage, like to ambush enemies, and are able to consistently plan reloads. Play the Object 277 if you want consistency, like pressure or tempo, and prefer forgiving armor. Which tank do you think wins this matchup, and why? Drop your pick and the next Heavy Tank Showdown you want to see in the comments. If this helped you win more moments or games with either tank, then welcome to Modern Viking Gaming. Please like and subscribe. Stay tuned for more Heavy Tank Showdowns to come. What's up everybody, Ripper Smash here. One tank deletes, one tank dominates. Most players get this matchup wrong. Drop your pick in the comments before we start. This isn't about stats, this is a brawl. It's punishment versus pressure. Welcome to the Heavy Tank Showdown series. Today we're breaking down the 60 TP versus the IS-7. Two tier 10 tanks that make you hesitate in different ways. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which tank fits your playstyle and which will get you killed on the battlefield. The role of the 60 TP is a frontline heavy brawler, meaning it engages enemy tanks at close to medium range. The playstyle of the 60 TP is using its formidable turret armor and gun depression to hold positions and punish enemy mistakes with its oppressive alpha. The keys to this tank are hull down or ridge fighting. The strong turret and -8° gun depression makes it extremely effective for ridge lines and debris. Trading shots. With its 750 alpha damage, the 60 TP is built for trading in a shot-for-shot playstyle, as it can and will often out-damage opponents in most exchanges. Defensive play. The 60 TP performs best when holding positions with allied support. Its reload time makes it vulnerable if pushed hard by multiple enemies. Punishing mistakes. The large caliber gun ensures that mistakes don't go unpunished with devastating blows. The strengths of the 60 TP are 1. High alpha damage. The 152mm gun delivers massive shots, some of the highest for tier 10 heavies. 2. Strong turret armor. The frontal turret is almost impenetrable even with premium rounds, especially when hauled down. 3. High hit point pool. The 60 TP has a large health pool, allowing it to absorb damage and last longer in battles. This also means you can often trade your health for kills. 4. Decent mobility. Not fast, but the 60 TP has adequate mobility for a super heavy and can effectively reach positions or reposition. The weaknesses of the 60 TP are 1. Poor gun handling and accuracy. The gun on the 60 TP is derpy and inconsistent, with poor accuracy and slower aim time. This means longer range shots can be unreliable. Careful aiming is even required at closer ranges. 2. Longer reload time. The cost of the high alpha is a longer reload time at around 15 seconds. This results in a lower DPM over the long term compared to other heavies. 3. Vulnerable lower plate. The front plate is a significant weak spot and can be easily overmatched by most enemies. 4. Ammo rack damage. The 60 TP's ammo rack is located in a vulnerable position, making it prone to being blown up if the side armor is exposed. The 60 TP is all about using its alpha damage to punish enemy mistakes, sending them back to the garage. GG. The role of the IS-7 is an aggressive frontline heavy tank that excels at close to medium brawling due to its strong armor and mobility. The playstyle of the IS-7 is to spearhead attacks or hold key defensive positions on the front line. This revolves around using its formidable armor to lead pushes and trade damage effectively. The keys to this tank are: aggressive brawler. The IS-7 should be at the forefront of battle, not sniping from the back. Use its good top speed to reach key offensive positions early in the match. Hold down and face hugging. Use terrain to hide the IS-7's front lower plate. The turret is virtually impenetrable, making it a hold down monster. In super close combat, which it sees often, face hugging and putting your gun in the enemy's gun can make you extremely difficult to penetrate or deal with. Pike nose management. The IS-7 has a pike nose hull, which means you should always try to face the enemy head on to maximize the armor effectiveness. Angling the hull flattens the sides of the pike, creating weak spots. Ramming. This tank has a high mass and good speed, making it effective at ramming medium and light tanks. The strengths of the IS-7 are: 1. Effective turret and side armor. The nearly impenetrable turret is one of the best in the game, making many positions highly effective. The side armor is also spaced and good at bouncing shots. 2. Penetration and firepower. The decent alpha and good standard and premium penetration makes for effective trades. 3. Mobility. With a top speed of 40 km an hour, the IS-7 is effective at getting to key map control points and repositioning. 4. Beginner friendly. This tank is a great choice for newer players due to its strong armor profile. The weaknesses of the IS-7 are: 1. Vulnerable hull armor. The front lower plate can be easily penetrated, but the pike nose design means that the side scraping can expose weak upper plates. 2. Low DPM and gun handling. The longer reload time affects the DPM compared to other heavy tanks, and the gun is unreliable at longer ranges. 3. Poor terrain resistance. Softer ground means that the IS-7 can have trouble accelerating and reaching top speeds. 4. Poor gun depression. The -6-degree gun depression limits its effectiveness on certain terrains. The IS-7 effectively pressures enemies using armor and speed, making it enjoyable to play. Scenario 1. City or corner fights. 60 TP wins. The alpha damage on the 60 TP is a real threat, and when trading shot for shot, it is punishing to enemies, making people play differently after taking a hit for 750 HP. The common player mistakes are over-pushing and exposing weaknesses on the 60 TP. Scenario 2. Ridgeline and hold down. The 60 TP wins. The strong turret and usable gun depression make it effective, and the alpha punishes poor peaks. The common player mistakes are going in alone and not taking into account your tank's reload time. Scenario 3. Push versus hold. The IS-7 wins. The speed of the IS-7 enables strong pushes. That, coupled with its armor, means it can absorb incoming fire, giving the IS-7 a slight edge. The common player mistakes are turning the tank to expose the cheeks and bottom plate due to the hull design. Scenario 4. Endgame and carry potential. The 60 TP wins. The high alpha means that by the end of the game, most tanks are 1 or 2 shot kills for the 60 TP, which forces enemy hesitation and missed plays. The common player mistake is over-pushing into multiple enemies in a fortified position. Is the 60 TP forgiving or punishing? It is punishing. The 60 TP does not forgive bad decisions. Missed shots, poor timing, or exposing the lower plate are immediately punished because of the long reload. You are either in control or you're irrelevant for 20 plus seconds. Common player mistakes: over-peaking while reloading, trading HP without hitting your shots, firing early instead of waiting for a secure shot, sitting in the open, and no cover on reloads. What separates good players from great players? Reload discipline, knowing when not to shoot. Threat management, enemies fear a loaded gun. Timing proper trades and not forcing them. letting the fear of punishment win fights before shots are even fired. Great 60 TP players win lanes before the fight starts using fear. Is the IS-7 forgiving or punishing? It is forgiving. The IS-7 allows mistakes, sometimes repeatedly. Armor angles, speed, and turret reliability mean misplays are often not immediately punished. It is one of the safest heavy tanks at tier 10. Common player mistakes: overcommitting because the armor feels invincible, playing too passively despite strong mobility, pointing the nose pike incorrectly, and brawling when repositioning would win the game faster. What separates good players from great players? Map control and lane selection. Using speed to force the fight, not react to it. Knowing when to disengage instead of face tanking. And turning presence into pressure. Great IS-7 players force trades, take positions early, but aren't afraid to relocate to win the fight. The overall winner is the 60 TP, but narrowly. If you value comfort and consistency, the IS-7 is absolutely the better tank. But if your goal is to have an impact and decide games, the 60 TP does this more often. Play the 60 TP if you want to carry games, like to break or end stalemates, enjoy punishing enemies using your alpha. Play the IS-7 if you want a reliably armored tank, want a fast tank that takes positions early, and you want consistency. Speed wins positions, alpha wins the war. Drop your pick for the next Heavy Tank Showdown you want to see in the comments, or if you disagree, tell me why. Thanks for watching, and please like and subscribe. What's up everybody, Ripper Smash here. Armor, firepower, and aggression. Before we start, drop your pick for the winner in the comments. Who takes it, the T803 or the KR1? This is the Brawler versus the Modern Controller. One question decides this fight. Does raw armor still work against modern heavy tanks? Today we're breaking down the T803 versus the KR1. Two new tier 11 tanks that use armor in different ways. By the end of this video, you'll know which tank thrives when enemies push it, and which tanks love to overwhelm enemies early. Let's get into it. The role of the T803 is an adaptable frontline heavy tank known for its unique reload and DPM boosting mechanic. It is best suited for more experienced players who can maximize its aggressive DPM potential as it is designed to win sustained engagements. The playstyle of the T803 is to use hold down positions and continuous firing to unlock its full potential and hold key positions. The keys to the T803 are aggressive brawler and hold down fighter. Being similar to the T110E5, its tier 10 counterpart, the T803 revolves around hiding its hull and utilizing its excellent -10 degree gun depression. It is designed for precise positional engagements. Unique mechanic. The T803 has a semi-automatic auto-loading mechanic where every shell hit, either penetrating or not, temporarily boosts the reload speed. Killing an enemy provides an even larger boost. This means staying engaged and constantly firing to maintain maximum efficiency. High skill cap. This tank can be difficult to master. Learning to play aggressively while protecting your weak spots is crucial. Surviving long enough for the DPM boost to kick in is fundamental to this tank. The strengths of the T803 are 1. DPM monster. It has the highest DPM among all heavy tanks in the game when the mechanic is fully active. 2. Gun depression. The -10 degree gun depression means this tank excels at fighting on ridge lines and on debris. 3. Survivability. The T803 has a strong turret armor and a good HP pool at around 2400 HP, meaning it has the ability to survive if needed. This also makes this tank strong at holding key positions early in the fight. 4. Prolonged fights. This tank excels at drawn-out fights where enemies are forced into its firing lane. The weaknesses of the T803 are 1. Base reload. The reload speed at the lower levels of the mechanic is punishing if it isn't used properly. 2. Large weak spots. The large and easily penetratable cupola is a massive weak spot on the turret and can be easily shot if the tank angles are off. The hull's lower plate is also a vulnerable spot if exposed. This tank struggles with side scraping effectively. 3. Skill cap. Due to the larger weak spots combined with the reload mechanic, this tank can be harder to play than other heavy counterparts. Learning how to angle or hide the weak spots takes some time. 4. Committing to lanes. With average speed, this tank can have issues relocating or retreating from positions, making it expose itself more often than other tanks. The T-803 is a powerful vehicle for those who can leverage its DPM mechanic and minimize its weaknesses at the same time. The role of the KR-1 is a Soviet hard-hitting breakthrough tank with good mobility. The playstyle of the KR-1 is based on aggressive, close-quarters engagements with exceptional ramming capabilities. It is designed to lead pushes, seize key positions, and overwhelm enemies early. The keys to this tank are: Aggressive Brawler. This tank should be at the front of the engagement using your strong frontal armor and high alpha gun to trade shots and pressure enemies. Ramming Specialist. The KR-1's unique selling point is its incredible ramming ability, which can be further enhanced with upgrades and the Control Impact skill. Properly using ramming can add significant damage per game and serve as a secondary source of offense against unsuspecting tanks. Mobile Support. The good mobility at 60 km an hour allows it to quickly reach key positions and keep up with medium tanks. This means it can bring its HP and armor to where they are needed the most. The strengths of the KR-1 are: 1. Survivability. The KR-1 has a strong frontal hull and a durable turret. The pike nose's design is very effective head-on, and the turret is robust with a small cupola that is difficult to hit reliably. 2. High alpha damage. The 136mm gun delivers impactful 530 alpha damage shots, which can be increased with upgrades. 3. Hull downplay. With -7 degrees gun depression offered in upgrades, the KR-1 is more flexible on ridgelines and debris than the IS-7. This combined with the turret design makes it effective at hull down engagements. 4. Intimidation. Seeing multiple KR-1s coming full speed at you can be super intimidating and force enemies to misplay or full-on retreat. The weaknesses of the KR-1 are: 1. Vulnerable when angled. The pike nose is weaker when angled for side scraping compared to other heavies. 2. Sluggish acceleration. Before fully upgraded, the KR-1 can feel slow to start. 3. Gun handling and DPM. The accuracy and aim time are not strong points on this tank, meaning that the gun can be inconsistent for longer range shots. Also, the DPM of this tank isn't the highest compared to other heavies. 4. Ramming is situational. The ramming ability is situation dependent and can be a risky play if not used intelligently. The KR-1 is an aggressive brawler that wins through commitment and armor. Scenario 1. City or corner fights. The KR-1 wins. The armor profile of the KR-1 is better designed for tight spaces as it can hide its weak spots better. It can also trade HP aggressively as it doesn't need time to build up its mechanic. The common player mistakes are trying to side scrape and exposing the upper plates of the nose. Scenario 2. Ridgelines and hull down. The T-803 wins. The T-803 has better gun depression and with its sloped frontal turret design can effectively hide its weak spots, giving it more time to ramp up its DPM. The common player mistakes are turning the turret sideways when on a ridge to expose less armored sides of the turret. Scenario 3. Push versus hold. The T-803 wins. The sustained DPM of the T-803 can bleed pushing enemy tanks, punishing overcommitment and forcing enemies to hesitate. The common player mistakes are falling back too early and not using the T-803's strength to farm damage. Scenario 4. Endgame and carry potential. The T-803 wins. If the T-803's mechanic can get ramped up, the DPM becomes oppressive, especially when it comes to cleaning up low HP tanks. The T-803 also is less dependent on armor RNG. The common player mistakes are feeling invincible and overexposing weaknesses leading to dying at the end of the game. Is the T-803 forgiving or punishing? It is punishing. Very. The T-803 has a high skill requirement that rewards the ability to effectively use the reload mechanic and hide the weak spots, all while trying to win your lane and ultimately the battle. The common player mistakes are losing HP early in the match, not using cover effectively and not angling armor, overexposing weak points when trying to get shots or secure a kill, and allowing the reload mechanic to run out. What separates good players from great players? Controlling when fights happen so you can make the best use of your reload mechanic, forcing enemies to push into reload windows, and winning games without ever needing to overextend. Great T out of 3 players aren't reactive to play, they dictate play.
Gotcha, sucker.
Is the KR1 forgiving or punishing? It is forgiving. The KR1 is designed to absorb mistakes. Missed shots, bad angles, and overconfidence cushions errors that would kill other tanks. Common player mistakes: over-pushing without support, tunnel vision when fighting and brawling, ignoring potential crossfire threats, and believing the armor makes you invincible. What separates good players from great players? Knowing when not to push, leading pushes without overcommitting, and transitioning from brawler to anchor in the late game. Great KR1 players use armor as a tool, not as a crutch. The overall winner is the T803. The KR1 wins raw brawls and pushes games early, but the T803 wins matches using its carry abilities thanks to its DPM.
Oh, that's gonna leave a mark.
Play the T803 if you want to control games, want to have the potential to carry games, and want consistency.
Eat that.
Play the KR1 if you want armor confidence, want to and enjoy brawling, and want to lead pushes and take positions early. Armor keeps you standing, firepower decides who falls. Drop your pick for the next Heavy Tank Showdown you want to see in the comments, or if you disagree with me, tell me why. Thanks for watching, and please like and subscribe.
What's up everybody, Ripper Smash here. What happens when a flexible ridgeline bruiser meets one of the scariest corner brawlers in the game? One tank is about controlled pressure, flexibility, and choosing the moment to strike. The other is built to punish mistakes brutally and dominate brawls. Welcome to the Heavy Tank Showdown series. Today we're breaking down the Canopener versus the ST2, two tier 10 heavy tanks that win fights in completely different ways. By the end of this video, you'll know which tank actually wins a showdown, which one fits your playstyle, and where each one of them absolutely falls apart. The role of the Canopener is a British dual-barreled heavy tank that is regarded as a strong or even overpowered frontline brawler. It is a versatile tank with excellent armor and a unique double-shot mechanism. The playstyle of the Canopener is close to medium-range brawling, side-scraping, and hull-down combat. It is designed to spearhead attacks, utilize its gun depression to dominate ridge lines, and use its high HP pool and solid turret to hold key positions. The keys to the Canopener are Ridgeline Warrior. Utilizing its negative 10-degree gun depression and strong turret armor, it can engage safely while easily hiding its small cupola. Dual Barrel Gameplay. This tank features a double barrel system that can fire in single shot mode, which is more accurate, or a double shot / salvo mode. Aggressive Brawler. This tank is heavy at 90 tons, making it effective for ramming enemies. Versatile Gunner. Swapping between single and double shot is easy with a touch of a button based on the situation, though the double shot mechanic can be inaccurate. The strengths of the Canopener are 1. Exceptional armor. This tank features a very strong turret and sloped hull, making it tough to penetrate even with premium rounds when hulled down. 2. Excellent gun handling. Despite being a double barrel tank, it has surprisingly good accuracy and gun handling in single shot. 3. High damage potential. The double shot mode can deal 840 damage instantly and doesn't require charge time. 4. Strong gun depression. The negative 10 degrees allows for comfortable play on uneven terrain. The weaknesses of the Canopener are 1. Unreliable double shot. The salvo mechanism has poor accuracy, making it less reliable than single shots in some scenarios. 2. Slow DPM. This tank lacks a traditional gun rammer, and firing a double shot requires a long 20-second reload before loading the next shot. 3. Large hull and weak spots. While strong, it has a high, large profile hull with a driver's hatch and commander's cupola that can be exploited by skilled opponents. 4. Slow mobility and traverse speed. With a top speed of 34 km an hour, this tank is not fast, making it susceptible to being outflanked. The turret and hull traverse speeds are also slow, limiting its responsiveness when brawling. The Canopener is all about using small trades in succession to cause and punish mistakes. The role of the ST2 is a support or flex heavy that provides high alpha damage while being behind more armored teammates. The playstyle of the ST2 is one of an all-around support heavy, focusing on close quarters combat and burst damage. It excels in hold down positions and in face-hugging scenarios where its 2 guns can cause massive damage or block enemy fire. The keys to the ST2 are hull down and side scraping. The turret is strong, but the hull is the same as the Tier 9 predecessor, the ST1, so side scraping must be done carefully to avoid over-angling. The double bitch slap. The double shot mechanic is excellent at punishing enemies who overextend or try to push. Save the salvo for when you are sure both shots will penetrate, preferably at close range. Active defense. In a face hug, you can raise your guns, hiding your cupola with both your guns. The strengths of the ST2 are 1. Double barrel versatility. This tank has the ability to fire as a single shot or as a double shot to deal a massive 880 burst damage. 2. Armor and HP. This tank has a strong turret face and a respectable HP pool at 2500 HP. This means it can block or absorb a decent amount of damage. 3. Solid gun depression. The negative 8 degrees gun depression allow this tank to fight on ridges and hold down. 4. Corner king. Due to the strong frontal turret and the ability to side scrape and punish mistakes, the ST2 is ideal for fighting around corners. Just make sure you hide the cupola. The weaknesses of the ST2 are 1. Poor mobility. A top speed of 40 km an hour combined with a terrible ground resistance makes the ST2 feel sluggish on soft terrain. 2. Unreliable weak spots. The front of the ST2's hull is weak, and it has a noticeable cupola that can be penned easily with high penetration shells. 3. Low penetration. The standard shells at 258mm, and especially the premium shells at 310mm, have poor penetration for a Tier 10 heavy tank, making heavily armored opponents a struggle. 4. Average DPM after salvo. The ST2 cannot mount a gun rammer, and its long reload between salvos can leave it vulnerable. The ST2 is a fun off-meta tank that can perform well in the right situation and hands. The overcommit. This scenario is about who loses the fight by committing first. In tight fights and hardcover situations, the ST2 is waiting for mistakes. The Canopener doesn't want to be the tank that commits early. When the Canopener stays in single fire mode, peaks, trades, and resets, it stays competitive. But the moment a Canopener player forces a dual shot, stays exposed for too long, or tries to win the trades, the fight flips in the ST2's favor. This commitment window is exactly what the ST2 is built to punish. Outcome? The ST2 wins when enemies commit. Canopener loses when it overextends. The ground. This scenario is about terrain deciding the fight. On ridgelines, uneven ground, and hull down positions, the Canopener gains a massive advantage. Here the Canopener can control exposure time, use its turret armor effectively, and take clean shots without committing. The ST2 struggles in these fights because it can't effectively control the engagement. Therefore, burst opportunities are awkward or non-existent, and it is forced into single-shot trades that it slowly loses. Every time the ST2 tries to force damage on bad ground, it exposes itself longer than it wants to. Outcome? The Canopener wins on ridges and uneven ground. The ST2 loses when it can't control the terrain. The push. This scenario is about momentum and timing. When the ST2 is holding ground, it is dangerous because it controls angles, peaks, and punishes mistakes brutally. A Canopener pushing into prepared enemies risks getting trapped and losing half its HP or more instantly. but when the ST2 is the one pushing, the situation changes. If the ST2 pushes without forcing shots, locking enemies in place, and creating predictable exposure, it walks right into enemy tank strengths. A holding can opener complete HP during enemies approaching, reset repeatedly, and use the double shot mode as a push stop. Outcome: the ST2 wins when defending. The can opener wins when controlling the push time. Whoever controls the tempo best controls the fight. The endgame. This scenario is about what happens when structure disappears. In late game situations, lanes open up, support disappears, and fights become more isolated. This favors a can opener. The can opener's flexibility allows it to effectively reposition, fight uneven one-on-ones, and clean up low HP targets quickly. The ST2, while still dangerous, becomes more limited as it relies on a predictable fight structure and struggles when forced to react. The double shot burst damage becomes a risky play without guaranteed cover. In the endgame, the can opener can choose its fights. The ST2 often has to accept this. Outcome: the can opener excels at low tank count situations. The ST2 loses value without a structured fight. When the map opens up, flexibility wins games. Is a can opener forgiving? Yes, moderately forgiving until you force it. In single fire mode, the can opener has reliable gun handling, allows quick peeks and resets, and gives you time to recover from small positioning errors. You can make a mistake in the can opener, reset, and keep playing. The common mistakes that get can opener players killed are forcing double shot damage. This means using double shot mode when single fire would win the trade, and treating double shot mode as the default instead of a finisher. Prolonged exposure. This includes taking too long to line up your shots and forgetting that this tank still has weak spots. Playing flat ground too often. This includes ignoring ridge lines and terrain advantage, and turning the tank into a worse brawler than it needs to be. Great can opener players use single fire mode by default, treat double shot as a decision, not a habit, track enemy reloads and HP before committing, and know when not to shoot. A good can opener player deals damage. A great can opener player controls the fight. Is the ST2 forgiving? No, it is punishing, but predictably. The ST2 has strong armor, can absorb mistakes early, and feels safe in structured fights. This can give players a false sense of security. The ST2 forgives small positioning errors, but it brutally punishes timing mistakes. The common player mistakes that get ST2 players killed are forcing burst damage. This includes trying to force the double shot when a single shot will do, and exposing for too long to line up the perfect shot. Pushing without structure. This includes leaving corners early and chasing flexible tanks into open ground. Ignoring tempo. This includes trading shots instead of controlling peaks, and not using the strengths that make this tank powerful. Great ST2 players make enemies shoot first, use burst only when punishment is guaranteed, hold angles instead of chasing damage, and understand that threat is as powerful as fire. A good ST2 player hits hard. A great ST2 player makes enemies afraid to peek. Which tank gives you more ways to win? The can opener wins the matchup because it controls when fights happen. It can adapt to more terrain types, it can disengage and reset more easily, and it has a decisive finisher when the moment is right. The can opener doesn't need the enemy to make mistakes, it just needs time and patience. So if one tank wins more games, and the other one wins harder fights, the real question becomes, which tank should you be playing? Play the can opener if you prefer patience over panic, like controlling fights, not forcing them, are comfortable playing ridges and terrain, and want a tank that can recover from small mistakes. If you like winning through decisions, the can opener fits you. Play the ST2 if you enjoy corner brawls and structured fights, like punishing mistakes hard, are confident with timing and discipline, and prefer to hold ground instead of relocating. If you like ending fights instantly, the ST2 fits you. Patience wins games, burst ends them. Drop your pick for the next Heavy Tank Showdown you want to see in the comments, or if you disagree with me, tell me why. Thanks for watching, and if this helped you, please like and subscribe. Same alpha, same role, same tier. They do not win the fights the same way. One wins by refusing to give ground. The other wins by taking it before you're ready. And if you try to play them the same way, you'll bleed HP for no reason. You'll lose tempo, and you will throw the flank before mid-game even starts. Because one of these tanks controls space, and the other controls momentum. This is the Heavy Tank Showdown, Superconqueror versus 110E5. What's up everybody, Ripper Smash here. Let's start with the Superconqueror. The Superconqueror is not a jack of all trades. It is a line holder. It doesn't win by exploding flanks. It wins by refusing to lose them. If you put this tank on a ridge and play it correctly, the enemy either commits multiple tanks or they don't push at all. That's its identity. Area denial through consistency. How the Superconqueror wins. Aggressive DPM control. Most players think this tank is defensive. It isn't. It puts pressure on through its reload advantage. You don't wait. You trap. You farm. You fire twice for every heavy tank that thinks it can trade effectively with you. If you're not using your reload to control tempo, you are underplaying this tank. Terrain ownership. The negative 10-degree gun depression is not a stat. It's territory control. If there's a ridge on the map, that ridge belongs to you. Flat ground, you are mortal. Ridges, you're a nightmare. The Superconqueror doesn't use terrain. It abuses it to its advantage. Premium Hesh discipline. The Hesh rounds are not for spamming. They are for execution. Light tanks, paper mediums, side armor. If you're not switching ammo intelligently, you're leaving damage on the table. And this tank wins through accumulation. Why the Superconqueror is dangerous. Gun handling. The elite gun handling removes RNG from the equation. DPM. It fires twice in the time it takes for most heavies to fire once. Superb armor. The spaced armor eats heat rounds and punishes premium spam. Turret profile. The turret is nearly impenetrable when hauled down. Repeatable. It wins long fights through pure consistency. The longer the engagement goes, the stronger this tank becomes. Where the Superconqueror failed. Massive lower plate. This is an auto pen if exposed. Low rotation. The slow top speed locks you into an early map decision. Turret weak spot. The cupola becomes targetable on flat ground. Artillery target. The large profile attracts artillery and HE spam. If you lose the ridge, you lose the advantage. Ammo selection. Standard APCR is your default as it is fast and reliable. Premium heat is for armor you cannot pen with regular rounds. And Hesh is for exacting punishment on lesser armored vehicles. The Superconqueror wins through accumulation, and smart ammo selection accelerates that accumulation. The T110E5 is not a ridge tank. It is a tempo tank. It doesn't win by sitting still. It wins by making you react. If you let this tank dictate the pace of the engagement, it forces mistakes before you even realize you're under pressure. That's its identity. Momentum through aggression. How the E5 wins. Tempo control through mobility. The E5 is faster than most tier 10 heavy. It gets into positions early, and it can leave them just as quick. It can flex mid-game and apply pressure when the fight is collapsing. This tank wins by being in the right place before the enemy expects it. Aggressive peak trading. The E5 thrives in quick exposure fights. You peek, you snap, you pull back. The armor works best when you're not sitting still. If you vary your timing and angles, the enemy struggles to farm your cupola. Sustained DPM pressure. The reload is strong, the gun hits hard enough, and the accuracy is reliable. But unlike the Superconqueror, the E5 uses its DPM to maintain momentum, not hold ground. It punishes advantages and weaken flanks without hesitation. Why the E5 is dangerous. It is faster than most heavies, meaning it can reposition and flex quickly. It has a strong turret when moving unpredictably. It has reliable 400 alpha with a solid DPM. It is excellent at cleaning up mid and late game fights, and it forces mistakes through pressure. The E5 becomes more dangerous the faster the game moves. Where the E5 fails. It has a large, well-known cupola weak spot. It is less effective in prolonged hull-down ridge fights. The armor is unreliable if sitting still. It can get out-traded by pure DPM monsters, and it requires mechanical discipline to avoid getting farmed. If you slow down this tank, you remove its biggest advantage. Gun and handling, the real separator. The E5's gun feels sharp in aggressive trades. It snaps well, it stabilizes quickly, and it rewards confident peaks. It is not a hold the ridge and farm gun. It is a take space and punish gun. And that's the difference. The superconqueror controls territory. The E5 controls tempo. Now let's put them in the same fight and see who actually comes out ahead. The overcommit. Early peak, one mistake, who punishes harder? This is the first 90 seconds. Both tanks crest the ridge, and both test the angles. One player overstays by half a second. The superconqueror punishes through reload control. If you mistime your peak, it tracks you and farms 2 more shots. The E5 punishes through snap tempo. It can take a fast shot and pull back before the DPM cycle begins. But in a pure overexposure moment, the tank that reloads faster and stabilizes cleaner wins the mistake. Advantage, superconqueror. It capitalizes harder on early impatience. The ground. Hold down ridge. Equal skill, no distractions. This is their natural battlefield. Both are hulled down, both no weak spots, both are disciplined. The superconqueror has a stronger turret profile, better spaced armor versus heat, and more forgiving gun handling. The E5 has a cupola that can be targeted if exposed too predictably. In a controlled ridge duel where neither tank can flank, the superconqueror bleeds less over time. Advantage, superconqueror. It owns the terrain longer. The push. Flank collapsing, one tank must take space. This is where things flip. The superconqueror pushes slowly. It grinds forward. The E5 surges. It has better mobility, it rotates cleaner, it can swing wide and collapse angles faster. If a flank needs to be broken open quickly, the E5 can get there first and apply pressure sooner. Advantage, the T110 E5. It converts advantages faster. The endgame. Low HP, fewer tanks, precision matters. Now reload timing and positioning matter more than armor thickness. The superconqueror is consistent, but it is not fast. The E5 in endgame scenarios repositions faster, chases down isolated targets, and forces 1 versus 1 on its own terms. When space opens up and vision widens, mobility becomes a weapon. Advantage, T110 E5. It carries cleaner in fluid late game fights. The superconqueror is discipline under pressure. The T110 E5 is tempo under pressure. Superconqueror. Discipline's healing. The superconqueror rewards control. It is easy to perform in. It is difficult to maximize. What the superconqueror actually requires. Exposure discipline. Show too much hull and you lose HP instantly. Reload tracking. Your DPM means nothing if you don't know the enemy's reload windows. Terrain mastery. Ridge control is everything. Flat ground is death. Patience under pressure. Pushing early ruins your advantage. The superconqueror demands structure. If you play it emotionally, you bleed. How the superconqueror punishes you. Overcrest the ridge, lower plate penned. Sit on flat ground, the cupola is farmed. Push without support, you're trapped and dead. Choose the wrong flank early, enjoy being a spectator. The superconqueror doesn't punish aggression, it punishes impatience. The T110E5, tempo ceiling. The E5 rewards decision speed. It feels flexible, it is unforgiving. What the E5 actually requires. Micro positioning. Your cupola exposure must be managed constantly. Timing aggression. Push too late and the fight passes you. Flex awareness. You must know when to rotate mid-game. Mechanical discipline. Snapshots must land. Trades must be clean. The E5 demands initiative. If you hesitate, you waste its greatest strength. How the E5 punishes you. Sit still, cupola sniped. Peek predictably, tracked and farmed. Slow push, out traded by DPM tanks. Wrong rotation, you arrive too late to matter. The E5 doesn't punish fear, it punishes hesitation. The Superconqueror punishes impatience. The T110E5 punishes indecision. Two different ceilings, two different failure modes. Which tank gives you more ways to win? If the game is static and terrain based, the Superconqueror has the advantage. Dynamic and momentum driven, the T110E5 has the advantage. Overall, edge to the T110E5, because mobility creates options, and options create win conditions. The Superconqueror dominates when the fight stays in front of it. The T110E5 can change where the fight happens, and in random battles, control over momentum often matters more than control over the ground. Play the Superconqueror if you value control. Play this tank if you enjoy locking down ridge lines, managing reload cycles, and grinding opponents down through consistency. The Superconqueror is for players who want to dictate space, not chase it. It rewards players who think 2 shots ahead. Play the 110E5 if you value momentum. Play this tank if you enjoy flexing flanks, accelerating advantages, and forcing enemies to react to you. The T110E5 is for players who want to shape the fight, not wait for it. It rewards players who make decisions quickly and live with it. Choose the one that fits how you want to win. Control wins ground. Momentum wins games. Which are you? Drop your pick in the comments. If you disagree with the verdict, tell me why. If this showdown sharpened your decision making, hit the like button. And if you want more Heavy Tank Showdowns where we break down how tanks actually win, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. The E100 and the Type 5 Heavy should not win the same fight, but most players use them the exact same way. And that's why one of them throws the game. Because one of these tanks wins trades, and the other one wins pushes. If you don't understand the difference, you lose the line before the fight even starts. This is the Heavy Tank Showdown, E100 versus Type 5 Heavy. What's up everybody, Ripper Smash here. Let's start with the E100. The E100 is not a battering ram. It's a duelist in 130 tons of armor. This tank doesn't win by pushing first. It wins by controlling trades. At tier 10, the E100 is a German heavy tank built for frontline pressure, but it applies that pressure through discipline, not through raw momentum. How the E100 wins. It controls the angle. With 2700 plus hit points and massive side armor, the E100 becomes extremely difficult to penetrate when angled correctly. Proper side scraping and turret angling, 20 to 30 degrees, transform it from a big target to a brick wall. If the E100 controls the angle, it controls the tempo. It wins the corner. The E100 is strongest in structured fights, city maps, choke points, and debris. Anywhere it can hide the lower plate and force peak trades, it thrives. In open spaces, it struggles. In controlled spaces, it dominates. It punishes peaks. The 15cm gun delivers 750 alpha. That means every mistake costs half a health bar. You don't push into an E100 casually. You respect it, or you bleed. Why the E100 is dangerous. 750 alpha. This means it wins single trades against most heavy tanks. Huge HP pool. It can afford one mistake. Strong angled armor. It rewards mechanical discipline. High pen heat. It is threatening to other super heavies. When played correctly, the E100 forces opponents to trade on its terms. Where the E100 fails, low mobility. If you choose the wrong flank, you're irrelevant. Lower plate and flat turret cheeks. Bad angling equals immediate punishment. Long reload on the bigger gun. Miss a shot and you lose tempo. Artillery target. You cannot sit still in open ground. Gun choice. Selective strategies. The 15cm gun wins trades. The 12.8cm gun wins consistency. In random battles, alpha controls psychology. In competitive modes like onslaught or maneuvers, DPM and reliability often matter more. Your choice of gun changes the E100's identity. The Type 5 Heavy is not built to win clean trades. It's built to break stalemates. This tank doesn't control the fight, it overwhelms it. At tier 10, the Type 5 Heavy is a Japanese super heavy designed to lead pushes and absorb pressure. It doesn't angle perfectly, but it advances relentlessly. How the Type 5 Heavy wins. It forces trades. The Type 5 Heavy is designed to drive directly into heavy lanes and force one-on-one engagements. With its massive HP pool, it can afford damage that other heavies cannot. It moves forward and makes you deal with it. It applies relentless pressure. Its armor may be flat, but it's thick. Slight angling increases its effectiveness, but this tank doesn't rely on micro adjustments. It relies on presence. If you hesitate against a Type 5 Heavy, it'll walk you down. It weaponizes HE. The 15cm gun's 11,000 alpha HE shells change engagement rules. Hold down opponent? No problem. Thick turret? Still taking damage. Even when it doesn't penetrate, it punishes. Why the Type 5 Heavy is dangerous. Massive HP pool. This allows it to win extended brawls. Thick frontal armor. Enemy standard rounds don't phase it. 1100 alpha HE. This guarantees pressure. Negative 10 degrees gun depression. Makes it surprisingly capable on ridges. Size and intimidation. This allows it to block lanes physically and psychologically. The Type 5 Heavy doesn't need perfect mechanics. It needs commitment. Where the Type 5 Heavy fails. 27 kilometers an hour top speed. Choose the wrong lane and you are relevant all game. Huge silhouette. You are the easiest target on the map. Flat armor profile. Premium ammo farms you. Large cupola and weak shoulders. Skilled players will punish you. Long reload. Miss a shot and your push stalls instantly. The Type 5 Heavy forgives bad positioning less than it forgives bad mechanics. Ammo and gun identity. The Type 5 Heavy changes the rules of engagement. With AP, it trades normally. With HE, it removes the need to penetrate. This makes it incredibly strong in random battles, but less reliable against coordinated, premium spamming opponents. Where the E100 wins with angled discipline, the Type 5 Heavy wins with momentum. One controls a corner, the other pushes through it. The overcommit. When one tank pushes too far. Every super heavy player has done this. You push too far, and suddenly you're alone. When the E100 pushes past its angles, it loses its identity. Its sides become farmable, its turret flattens under pressure, and that 15cm reload suddenly feels like an eternity. If it misses a shot while isolated, it doesn't just lose HP, it loses tempo. On the other hand, the Type 5 Heavy doesn't collapse immediately. With its massive HP pool, it can absorb 2, sometimes 3 extra hits while retreating. Even with low HP, it still threatens with HE. You can't ignore it, you have to finish it. Advantage? Type 5 Heavy. It forgives positioning errors better. The ground. Classic city standoff. 2 corners, 2 guns loaded. No one wants to peek first. This is where discipline wins. The E100 side armor and turret angling create a controlled trade environment. peek, shoot for 750, back off. If done properly, its trades win almost every time. The E100 controls the angle and the pace. The Type 5 Heavy can side scrape, but it doesn't manipulate armor as effectively. Its size makes hiding weak spots harder. Its trades are heavy, but less efficient. It relies more on HP than positioning finesse. If both tanks play perfectly, the E100 wins the trade war. Advantage, E100. Because trade control beats raw HP. The push. Momentum shifts, team support arrives. The line breaks, one team hesitates, the other moves. The Type 5 Heavy doesn't ask for permission. It absorbs focus fire, it blocks lanes physically, and it forces enemies to back up. Even if it takes 2 shots, it keeps coming. The E100 can push, but it needs protection. If its angles are broken mid-advance, it melts quickly. It's stronger reacting than intimidating. Advantage, Type 5 Heavy. When momentum matters more than mechanics, the Type 5 Heavy takes the ground. The endgame. Low HP, fewer tanks, precision matters. Fewer guns and no distraction, just one mistake deciding the fight. This is where Alpha becomes lethal. 750 damage means you can win a peak war instantly. Armor angling becomes more valuable. Baiting shots becomes decisive. The E100 thrives when the fight slows down. By this point, the Type 5 Heavy's HP advantage is usually gone. Its massive profile becomes harder to hide. Its reloads become riskier. It struggles against precision. Advantage, E100. When positioning matters more than presence, the E100 closes the fight. Both of these tanks are massive, but they demand very different kinds of skill. E100, high skill ceiling. The E100 rewards precision under pressure. It's not hard to drive, but it is hard to master. What the E100 actually requires: angle discipline. Small miscalculations can get punished instantly. Reload management. You must know when you are safe and when you are exposed. Map knowledge. Knowing where to go before the game starts. And map awareness. Knowing when to leave before the flank collapses. The E100 demands control. Overconfidence gets exposed immediately. How the E100 punishes. Bad angle, 800 damage taken. Missed shot, you just lost the trade cycle. Flat turret, premium ammo deletes you. The E100 doesn't forgive arrogance, it punishes impatience. The Type 5 Heavy, medium skill ceiling. The Type 5 Heavy is less mechanically demanding, but far more decision dependent. You don't need perfect angling, you need the correct commitment. What the Type 5 Heavy actually requires: lane selection. You must choose the correct heavy corridor at the start. HP management. You are trading deliberately, not randomly. Commit timing. Push too early and you isolate. Push too late and you're irrelevant. How the Type 5 Heavy punishes you. Overexposed, you become a premium ammo farm. Choose the wrong flank, you will never reach the fight. Push without support, you die slowly and uselessly. The Type 5 Heavy doesn't punish mechanics, it punishes bad decisions. The E100 punishes micro mistakes. The Type 5 Heavy punishes macro mistakes. One demands mechanical discipline, the other demands strategic judgment. Which tank gives you more ways to win? This matchup isn't about armor thickness, it's about control. If the fight is technical and controlled, the E100 dominates. If the fight is chaotic and momentum driven, the Type 5 Heavy takes over. But overall, the edge goes to the E100, because as skill increases, it scales better. Precision wins more fights than pressure, when both players know what they are doing. Play the E100 if you value control. If you enjoy angle mastery, punishing trades, and carrying late games through discipline, this tank is for you. The E100 is for players who want to outplay opponents, not overpower them. Play the Type 5 Heavy if you value presence. If you enjoy leading pushes, bullying lanes, enforcing engagements through sheer mass, this tank is for you. Type 5 Heavy is for players who want to take ground, not wait. One rewards precision, the other rewards commitment. Choose the one that fits how you want to win. Precision wins duels, presence wins pushes. Which one are you? Drop your pick in the comments, and if you disagree with the verdict, tell me why. If this showdown sharpened your game, hit the like button. And if you want more Heavy Tank Showdowns, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Same nation, same tier, same armor philosophy. But they do not control the battlefield in the same way. One becomes a wall, the other becomes a wedge. One wins by absorbing pressure until the enemy breaks. The other wins by creating pressure until the enemy collapses. And if you play them the same way, you'll overexpose at the wrong angle. You'll stall your push, you'll trade 3000 HP and still lose the lane. Because one of these tanks dominates by presence, and the other dominates by pressure. This is the Heavy Tank Showdown, Mouse vs Pz.Kpfw.
Much obliged.
What's up everybody, Ripper Smash here. Let's start with the mouse. The mouse is not a brawler. It's not a flanker, it's not a ridge fighter, it's not a tempo tank. It's a mass displacement weapon. It doesn't win by outplaying you. It wins by making you run out of options. If the mouse enters your lane and is played correctly, the fight stops being about trades and becomes about endurance. That's its identity. Space domination through sheer presence. How the mouse wins. Controlled HP trading. The mouse does not care about small losses. Most tanks try to avoid taking damage. The mouse expects it. You don't peek for snapshots. You don't jiggle for miracles. You angle, you commit, you trade 490 for 320. Again, and again, and again. If you're trying to play perfectly and clean in the mouse, you're underplaying it. It wins by winning the war of attrition. Hard angle discipline. Armor is not automatic. A flat mouse is a dead mouse. This tank lives and dies by angle management, 30 to 40 degrees at a time. Bait the turret cheek, hide the lower plate, force premium rounds into auto bounce zones. The mouse does not have armor, it creates it. If your angles are wrong, you melt. If your angles are disciplined, you become unbreakable. Corridor ownership. Once the mouse takes a lane, it stays taken. Urban, tight choke, city corners, this is where the mouse thrives. You are not pushing for burst damage. You are pushing to remove enemy will. If they cannot pen you reliably, then they cannot dislodge you, and they must rotate. And when they rotate, your team wins map control. The mouse doesn't chase flanks, it anchors them. Why the mouse is dangerous. Massive effective HP. The 3000 HP the mouse has changes engagement math. Armor scaling. The more enemies shoot you, the more mistakes they make. Psychological pressure. Players will overcommit trying to kill you. Corner dominance. In city fights, the mouse dictates who peeks and when. Endgame monster. If it survives mid-game, it becomes unstoppable. The longer the fight lasts, the more valuable the mouse becomes. Where the mouse fails. Mobility locking. Once you choose your lane, you live or die there. Artillery magnet. The size and speed of the mouse makes you free stun value. Crossfire vulnerability. 2 angles breaks the armor equation. Poor flexibility. You cannot rotate to collapsing flanks. Flat exposure. On open ground, the mouse is farmable. If the fight becomes mobile, the mouse loses control. Side scraping and angling, a core skill. This tank is a geometry exam. Proper mouse play is disciplined side scraping. The rear turret placement gives you better control over corners, safer peaks, and better turret weak spot exposure. But over angle, you expose the shoulder. Under angle, you expose the lower plate. The mouse rewards mechanical patience. If you rush your angle, you lose HP. If you master your angles, you dictate trades. This tank is not about speed, it's about structure and endurance. The Pz.Kpfw is not a wall. It's not an anchor. It's not an endurance tank. It's a breakthrough instrument. It doesn't win by outlasting your enemies. It wins by forcing the first collapse. If the mouse controls space through mass, the Pz.Kpfw controls space through momentum. That's its identity. Armor-backed aggression. How the Pz.Kpfw wins. Forward pressure trading. This tank wants initiative. It is not waiting for enemies to misplay. It makes them uncomfortable. You push into corners. You pressure angles. You take half steps forward that force reactions. You are not farming. You are destabilizing. Unlike the mouse, you do not want the fight to stall. You want it to tilt. If you hesitate in this tank, you lose its greatest advantage. Upper plate dominance. This armor is built for forward motion. The upper plate is monstrous when angled properly. Not side scraping, not passive peeking, forward angling. You show upper plate, you hide lower plate. You bait shots into thick frontal zones. This tank does not hold a corner the way the mouse does. It leans into it. And that lean forces bad trades from enemies who aren't ready. Alpha driven pressure. 490 alpha changes tempo. This is not DPM farming. This is psychological damage. You hit hard, you back them up, you reset their push. This tank doesn't grind opponents down slowly. It creates HP deficits quickly. If you're trading evenly in this tank, you're wasting it. You should be trading advantage. Why the Pz.Kpfw is dangerous. Frontally brutal. The upper plate and turret armor punishes lazy shots. Alpha impact. The 490 damage forces respect every peak. Breakthrough capability. It can lead pushes, just not anchor them. Mid-game power spike. When one tank falls, this tank accelerates collapse. Tempo control. This tank decides when engagements happen. This tank becomes terrifying when it smells weakness. It does not wait for late game value, it creates it. Where the Pz.Kpfw fails. Lower plate exposure. This is the tax you pay for aggression. Side armor reliability. This tank is not as forgiving as the mouse in extended side scrapes. The sides of the tank under the turret are weak and exposed in side scrapes. HP pool. You can't afford bad trades the way the mouse can. Overpush risk. Momentum without support equals isolation. Open terrain. Getting caught in the open means it's side auto pen. If the push fails, the Pz.Kpfw bleeds faster than the mouse. This tank rewards decisiveness, but it punishes overconfidence. Angling and side scraping. A different philosophy than the mouse. The mouse is a defensive angle machine. The Pz.Kpfw is an offensive angle monster. You are not sitting max angle. You are using micro adjustments while advancing. Half step, angle, fire, advance. The goal isn't to become unpennable. Your goal is to win the trade cycle before the enemy stabilizes. It is structured aggression, not stubborn endurance. Now let's put them head to head and find out who is forced to back up first. The overcommit. Early corner peak, one bad angle, who punishes harder. This is the first engagement. City map, tight corridor, both tanks approach the same corner. One player angles slightly wrong, overpeaks by half a second. The mouse punishes through attrition. It absorbs a return shot and trades back evenly, sometimes even favorably, because its HP pool forgives mistakes. The Pz.Kpfw punishes through alpha pressure. It hits for 490 and forces the enemy to reconsider the next peak immediately. But in a pure overexposure moment, the tank that can afford the mistake wins the exchange. Advantage, mouse. It survives early error better. The ground. Locked corridor equals the port, no crossfire. This is their natural battlefield. Hard cover, no flanking, just armor geometry and reload timing. The mouse side scrapes deeper. Its rear turret lets it control the corner with less exposure. It can sit there and dare you to shoot. The Pz.Kpfw plays more forward angle. It leans into the fight. Its upper plate is stronger head on. but its side armor is less forgiving in prolonged scrape battles. In a pure corner stalemate, the mouse bleeds less over time. Advantage? Mouse. It owns static corners longer. The push. Flank stalling. One tank must advance. Now momentum matter. The mouse advances methodically. It steps forward. It re-angles. It commits slowly. The Pz.Kpfw pushes with intent. It angles forward. It pressures reload windows. And it forces reactive shots. If the enemy line hesitates for even one reload cycle, the Pz.Kpfw gains ground faster. In a situation where space must be taken quickly, the breakthrough tank has the edge. Advantage? Pz.Kpfw. It converts pressure to momentum. The crossfire. 2 angles, focus fire, no safe side. This is where the matchup flips. The mouse hates crossfire. Its armor math breaks when shots come from multiple directions. It cannot rotate quickly enough to re-angle both threats. The Pz.Kpfw handles crossfire slightly better. Its frontal armor holds when advancing, and it can pivot forward more cleanly than the mouse can reverse and reset. Neither tank likes this scenario, but the one with better forward mobility survives longer. Advantage? Pz.Kpfw. It collapses under pressure less dramatically. The endgame. Low HP, fewer guns, map opens up. Now it's about repositioning and decision speed. The mouse becomes terrifying if it still has HP. An 1800 mouse in late game is a raid boss. You cannot trade with it efficiently. But if it's low, it struggles to chase. It struggles to relocate, and it becomes predictable. The Pz.Kpfw thrives when the lines open up. It can relocate faster, it can isolate targets, and it can force 1 versus 1s more effectively. If both tanks are healthy, mouse dominates the last stand. If the map becomes fluid, Pz.Kpfw carries cleaner. Advantage? Situational. Static fight, the mouse wins. A fluid fight, the Pz.Kpfw wins. The mouse is structure under pressure. The Pz.Kpfw is commitment under pressure. Mouse. Structured ceiling. The mouse rewards discipline. It looks simple. It is not. It is easy to exist in. It is difficult to master. What the mouse actually requires. Angle mastery. 5 degrees too flat and you evaporate. Side scrape geometry. Over angle the shoulder and you lose HP instantly. HP trading judgment. Knowing when a trade is worth it. Lane commitment awareness. You must choose the correct flank at countdown. The mouse demands structure. You are not reacting. You are committing to a battlefield decision before the first shot is fired. If you play the mouse emotionally, you hemorrhage HP. How the mouse punishes you. Angle poorly, shoulder pen. Expose the lower plate, auto pen fire. Choose the wrong flank, enjoy watching the collapse from 20 kilometers an hour. Get caught in a crossfire, 3000 HP disappears faster than you expect. The mouse doesn't punish aggression, it punishes bad structure. Pz.Kpfw. Commitment ceiling. The Pz.Kpfw rewards decisive pressure. It feels powerful, it is unforgiving. It is strong when leading, it is weak when hesitating. What the Pz.Kpfw actually requires. Forward angle discipline. Your upper plate is your weapon. Mismanage it and you melt. Trade advantage awareness. 490 alpha must create HP leads, not equal exchange. Push timing. Move too early and you isolate. Move too late and the window closes. Support read. You must know if your teammates will follow you before you commit. Pz.Kpfw demands commitment. Half pushes kill you. If you hesitate, you waste its purpose. How the Pz.Kpfw punishes you. Overpush alone, focused and deleted. Angle flat while advancing, lower plate farm. Trade evenly, outvalued by high HP tanks. Stall the push, you lose your identity. The Pz.Kpfw doesn't punish fear, it punishes hesitation. The mouse rewards discipline and geometry. The Pz.Kpfw rewards decision speed and commitment. 2 different ceilings, 2 different failure modes. Which tank gives you more ways to win? The mouse wins in tight corridors and city brawls. The mouse wins in slow, grinding lane fights. The mouse wins in structured, predictable engagements. The Pz.Kpfw wins in collapsing flanks and mid-game rotation. The Pz.Kpfw wins in momentum swings and reload punishment windows. The Pz.Kpfw wins in situations where space must be taken quickly. Overall, edge to the Pz.Kpfw, because pressure creates outcomes. The mouse controls space. The Pz.Kpfw controls tempo. And in random battles, tempo creates more win conditions than endurance. Play the mouse if you value structure, meaning you enjoy locking down corridors, mastering angles, and winning through endurance. The mouse is for players who don't panic under pressure, who understand HP as a resource, and who are willing to commit to a flank and make it unbreakable. Play the Pz.Kpfw if you value initiative, meaning you enjoy leading pushes, forcing reactions, and accelerating a collapsed flank. The Pz.Kpfw is for players who trust their timing, who read reload windows, and are comfortable committing forward when others hesitate. One becomes the wall, the other becomes the wedge. Choose the one that fits how you want to control the battlefield. Presence wins structure. Pressure wins momentum. Which one are you? Drop your picks in the comments, and if you think I got the verdict wrong, I want to hear why. If this showdown changed how you look at super heavies, hit the like button. And if you want more Heavy Tank Showdowns, where we break down not just stats, but win conditions, subscribe. Because the next matchup might challenge the way you play your favorite tank. I'll see you in the next one. That was 7 Heavy Tank Showdowns back to back. But after making these videos, one thing became obvious. Heavy tanks don't all win the same way. Some control ground, some force pressure, some punish mistakes, and some give you more ways to win than others. In the next video, I'm breaking down 7 lessons I learned from making these showdowns, and what they can teach you about playing heavy tanks better. If that sounds like your kind of content, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.